self-awareness is the most important word to me, because it allows you to look at yourself through a different lens. It allows you to analyze what are areas of improvement. Who do you want to become? What version of yourself do you want to be in every aspect of your life? And it allows you to reevaluate each of those with detail, and not to fix it right away with a snap of a finger, but to continue that journey to work on yourself, to eliminate and identify those areas of weakness so you can all become areas of strength.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Life Insurance Academy podcast. Today, you just got two guys who love life insurance.
Love it.
That's it.
Absolutely.
And we're hanging out. We're going to chat with you about some things that we think can help you in your life insurance sales. Zach, today we are talking about blind spots.
Oh, I didn't see that one coming.
You were ready for that. That was good. I wasn't ready for your joke. Yes. So blind spots. And you if you had to define it, tell me what a blind spot is.
It's something that you don't realize was there until after the fact.
Right.
You know, like if you let somebody borrow your car and you come back and now the rim's scratched.
Yes.
You know, that curb was probably in your blind spot, right? But no, it's a learning opportunity. It's a learning moment. It's something that isn't obvious or you were made aware of prior to. This could be during a sit. It could be a lot of it. It could be mindset based. It could be activity based.
Yeah.
But it doesn't become a blind spot until someone else points it out to you, which makes
That's
it
big.
really, really cool.
Right. So if you're so a picture would be like if you're driving and you're aware that there could be blind spots there, you know to check those blind spots, right?
But you're not aware of those.
You're not
if
aware
you've
of them.
Never had an accident,
Or if somebody ever taught you or showed
or
you.
you got a fancy car that has blind spot monitoring that glows in your mirror that goes beep beep beep. Something's there,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It always takes an outside presence
Right.
to help you become more aware, which is very cool because I would say in this industry, there's a lot of people that are really good. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of ego involved. I can't tell you how many best in the world life insurance agents I've already met. But it takes some self-awareness. It takes some vulnerability. It takes some. It takes a good friend, a good mentor, a good coach for them to be able to point out a blind spot, and secondly, for you to be able to address it for you to be more successful.
That's really good. This idea of self-awareness, being knowledgeable of I may have some blind spots. I need somebody's eyes on my situation, and having that conversation. I like that a lot. And I do agree with you on this because the thing, like I've learned.
Will you save that clip, Adam?
I said you were right.
I do agree with you on this.
I do agree with you on this.
I want that saved.
The interesting thing is, like an example would be confident. There are folks who sell totally on confidence, and they sell a lot off of confidence. You
Now,
go
just to be clear,
a long way.
Are you
on
talking about
confidence.
like confidence, but also like in their presence and their conviction in their voice?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's a blind spot for them. I'm just giving an example here. Could be they're a high producer, but they don't have a lot of relational skills or understanding the relational side of
Yes.
sales. And so they aren't as profitable because they have a lot of chargebacks, right? So that's an example of a blind spot. We aren't going to cover all the blind spots. We've got 3 today that we're gonna look at. And I kind of think of it in a way, Zach, you're a basketball player, pretty darn good basketball player. You've worked hard on your shot. You had a lot of coaching on your shot. I played basketball. I didn't have a lot of coaching, but I put a lot of time in the snow and the rain, shooting baskets from my hip the catapult, yeah, for a long time, breaking the back, yes, just like that, and
you're like that dude in Along Came Polly. What was his name? The E! True Hollywood Story.
yes, Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think, played him. I don't remember this character name. I'm sure Adam will have something there. Rain Dance, but you and I had a different perspective of what the game was.
Yes.
Right. And this kind of leads into this very first one is I think this is a blind spot for people, and they experience a different opportunity because they're trying to figure it out themselves. Do you agree with that?
100%. I'm actually curious. I want to hear number one. You haven't told me it yet.
Yes.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Number one is trying to do it by yourself. That's the number one thing.
Yes.
And this is the thing I've learned is that there's a cost to success, and usually comes in the form of mentoring and coaching. That's ultimately what's needed. Like when I think of your baseball, I look at Ty and his baseball, my son, working on his swing. We spend so much money on baseball coaching, where somebody's taking the time, helping him work on, just even how his posture, his mindset, all of that stuff, working through that. His swing looks dynamically different than if it's just me working in the backyard with him on that.
Yeah, I think the cool thing with that is when you talk about this cost, right? And what you're paying for, and I saw a cool video the other day, and it made a lot of sense. It was about, and this will make sense. Just give me a minute. It's about this guy calling a plumber because there was some issues at the house, and he said, "How much is it going to cost?" And he was saying, it was either plumber or car mechanic, one of the two, same thing. How much was the repair going to cost? And he was like, "Oh, why is it going to cost that much? I've looked it up. It should only be this much because it only costs this much for that part and this much for that part." And he said, "Great." He goes, "That's fine." He goes, "How about this? How about I pay you the whole amount and then you just fix it, And he goes, "Well, I can't. I don't have a press." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, that costs money. You got to go buy a press." "Oh, I don't have this either." "Well, yeah, you have to have tools as well."
Right.
"Now, will you show me how to do this and put this together?" He goes, "Oh, that's X amount of years of experience and certifications and all these other things, which is the biggest cost is the know-how."
Right.
The know-how
Correct.
factor. And I was like, man, that is so cool because so many people are trying to just look at, particularly to our industry, compensation or percentages, and paired that with expectation and training. But like when you said how much it cost, you're thinking about monetary value to get a coach. But the biggest cost, in my opinion, in life insurance, in any profession, and would be time, right?
Correct.
You're paying a coach to do it to speed up time. The coach has put in the work and the time years ago to learn that know-how, the mechanics, the tools, to then teach Ty in a faster time frame.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. But that time and money is so crucial in everything we do. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And if you do think about it in the terms of baseball, Tyler is competing for a position. Mm-hmm. There's a competition for this position, and those other students, some of them are putting in the time, some of them are paying for the coaching, some of them aren't. Some of them they'll just show up, and they probably aren't going to find a position. They may not find a spot on the team.
Right.
But it is the same everywhere. Like this is a competitive industry, and people are counting on us to be able to take care of our families, whatever it is. So trying to do it yourself, I love what you're talking about in regards to time. What is it costing us?
Yeah.
Because we're not willing to have a conversation about compensation and understanding, hey, it's a completely different conversation of people who value that and say, hey, I appreciate the opportunity and the coaching that you guys are offering, and I see a pathway forward. I'm going to implement what you said. To the other person who's saying, I need the top compensation. It's,
And I want to speak to this, Chris, because so many people, this industry has changed so much since we've been in it, and it's gotten drastically younger, and it's a beautiful opportunity. But I think what a lot of people take for granted here is that cost of time. You see so many people coming into this, young people, 20, 18, 23, 25, but it really doesn't matter. But the perspective part of this is different. They think that they have time, that it's an unlimited resource.
Yes.
But there's a couple things, especially in life insurance, that are counting down, if you will. One of them is the pressure of getting launched and getting started successfully to a level of stability. Not even a level of success. I think there's a drastic difference. There's a level of stability that you can make it in life insurance, enough to make a good, healthy living, but I wouldn't consider that as being successful. And then to go to a whole nother level, there's a different time commitment inside of that. And the reason I say the perspective is different, because if you're coming into this as a 20-year-old, 23-year-old, you may be dating, you may be single, you may just been married, the likelihood of having kids is probably lower. Your average monthly expenses is probably lower. You may or may not have a house, most likely not yet. So your commitments financially are so much lower, which you may think as an agent, that buys me time. I have time to get better. I have time to build this up. All of a sudden you get married, or you have 2 kids, and these are positive things, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the amount of time you can put into building your business or your agency is now limited because you have responsibilities in other areas of your life. It just got compressed.
That's really good.
The other aspect is what if you have some sort of health concern that limits your ability to go out to the field, that maybe limits your ability from working from home or on the phone, because it could be, who knows what it is. But we also feel that we're invincible as far as our time, and we're not going to age, and I have the next 40 years of my life to build this career, which isn't necessarily reality. Fast forward to how you moved into this industry. You had 2 kids. You had a wife depending on you. You had to move in here part-time to make ends meet, to make things work, to see if it was safe enough for you to be able to make the full-time transition. But you had to sacrifice the time you had with your family on weekends and evenings just to potentially change the whole craft of your career.
Right.
The time you have at that stage in your life is drastically different. We have agents that come to us that have had former careers where they were extremely successful, but that career has some sort of a time frame to it and has ended. Now they're approaching retirement years, and they have a short amount of time to figure it out, to master it, and to create a healthy earning years as they move into retirement.
Right.
So different perspectives into this opportunity really change that cost of time. But the one consistent in every single one, if you notice, when people value their time, they're valuing their investment in their coaching and their mentorship to learn at a faster, more accurate pace.
And there's a couple of added spots to the specific blind spot of trying to do it yourself. One is I kind of want to say that belief is not an unlimited resource.
No.
And I think people who do get into this, who say, I can tinker around, I can figure this out, I can watch enough YouTube videos to figure this out. I've got the highest count, but I love what you say. You say 100% of 0 is 0, or 150% of zero is 0, because they don't know how to maximize the comp that they have, right?
Right.
And so getting to stable, like that time frame it takes to get to stable, may be the death of your journey, because you don't have enough belief yet left to get to profitability, to get to success.
I tell you, Chris, your belief slightly turns into a dream in your blind spot, and you're not aware of it.
Yeah.
Because you may say, I know I can do there. I know I can be in insurance, but we know people that's been getting started for 10 years,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But if they're not investing in themselves, if they're not paying for coaching, if they're not coming and paying for events, if they're not paying for leads, then they're telling themselves right now that you don't believe in yourself because you're not even betting on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to say something in regards to what we do here at Life Insurance Academy. We do provide courses and coaching that are streamlined for you to learn how to sell, how to close, what every step that you need to take in the life insurance sales process. Now, you could probably say, well, you guys provide all of this content for free, yet it's all on, every bit of it's on YouTube. You can check it out. It's all there. But now you're spending time. You're giving up the time to determine, okay, which video do I watch next? Sometimes we'll even tell you inside of the videos which video to watch next. But there's nothing like having the relationship on our coaching calls, our courses, to know exactly what your next steps are.
The guidance, the mentorship,
yes, absolutely.
The ability to pick up the phone call and ask a question.
Boom. So we do. I just want you guys to know, if you are watching our videos, those are available at lifeinsuranceacademy.org. We'd love to help you out and get engaged and investing in yourself to compress time so you are successful. Then the next blind spot that I do have a lot of conversations about, Zach, is doing as little as possible with as little investment as possible. And do you know what I'm talking about? Do you see that?
Exactly
Yes,
what you're
yes.
talking
And a lot of this is in regards to leads. When they're making an investment in leads, I understand people are at different levels when they engage. Some people have a lot of resources to be able to invest in leads, and they can get through that learning curve. And Roger did a great video. You can check it out at Life Insurance Academy about making one investment and repeatedly making that same investment over and over and over again. So that's a great video. Adam, I don't know the number on that, but I'm pointing. There you go. Adam told me to point there. You can check out that video. What I tend to see happen is I see agents purchasing introductory leads, which I would call an aged lead. I would call
lower
that
buyer intent.
Yes, lower buyer
quantity.
intent. It's aged. It might be shared as an aged lead. I know the FTC has new rules on some types of leads like that, but they're putting a low investment on those leads, and then they are trying to squeeze as much as they possibly can, and they aren't ever getting to a point of profitability. Can you talk about why it's important to invest in leads, and even though you may be profitable, continuing to invest in leads?
Yeah, I think the ultimate blind spot here, Chris, it's a blind spot to why you're even in the business. It's a blind spot to your goal. Your monetary goal that is going to fund your dream and what you want to accomplish as a family. And what I mean by that, when you get so wrapped up in the week to week about saving $1 and trying to maximize an ROI on such a small scale, you're completely disregarding the aspect of time again. Yes, your ROI may be 700%, but it's over 4 weeks. Right. On a tiny investment, that tiny investment of 700%. Okay, let's say I invest $1,000. It takes me 7 weeks, and I actually at the very end of it, I've profited $7,000. Right, 700% investment, which may sound good. It may look amazing on paper, but it took you the element of time of 7 weeks to get there.
That's right.
It would be a whole lot better if you invested. You don't even have to invest that much, but $2,000 a week, right? And maybe you just do 2 or 2.5 times your investment, right?
Right.
Now you make $2,000 to $2,500 a week, times that by the 7 weeks, right? Now your profit ends up being upwards of over $15,000 in profit.
In that time frame.
In the same
Right.
time frame.
Yes.
But what that means is, it means as you're getting down to the end of your weeks, you're committing to a weekly budget. You're committing to a weekly commitment to serving and investing in brand new leads, even though that might mean you leave 4 or 5 leads unworked every single week, right?
Right.
Even though that might mean, oh, well, I still got a half batch. Well, I'm committed. I'm going to buy this full batch anyways. Because now you have extra leads, which means you should work extra hard. It means you should maybe add in an extra day at the end of the week to maybe call or preset some appointments from previous leads week.
Yes.
It means if you have a downline or an agency of a team, maybe you can slide some of those leads to them to help boost them and encourage them and help them become more profitable because they just may need a little assistance when you're growing and mentoring. But your commitment doesn't change to your investment. And what I was talking about, your blind spot, if my goal is to accomplish X, Y, Z at the end of the year, attach a monetary value to what that is or what that costs, whether it's a vacation, whether it's a home, whether it's a second home or a beach house. What's the monetary value of that? How do I break that down per quarter? Ultimately, what do I need to make a week in order to make that a reality?
And that transitions literally into opportunities, into leads.
Yes, and the things people don't think about is the time frame. Okay, and the other thing they don't think about is the ease of activity. Because if you have brand new, fresh, high intent leads versus trying to squeeze the lemon out of these same 5 leads that you've knocked on or called 14 times. They may be avoiding you. They may not be, they may never show up.
Yeah.
Where you know that you have a new batch, a new investment, you know what numbers you're going to get out of those leads.
Absolutely. You know, it's interesting. This is just a principle of life, right? And I don't know if you know how olive oil's made. They press it.
Teach me.
Okay, they press it. And have you ever seen olive oil that's titled extra virgin olive oil? They press olives 3 times to produce the fruit from it, or produce the oil from it. The first pressing of that is the very first drippings from that olive oil is the extra virgin. It's the most purest that comes out. They do it the second time. That's the virgin, and I don't even know what they call the third. It's all used up. I don't know, but it's got the pulp, and it's not as easy to use, right? And I think that's what I see from agents sometimes. Like, let's say a face-to-face lead, like they're in a county that they're working, right? And they've worked down, they had 20 leads, they retired 15 leads. They're going to take those 5 leads and try to generate 2 more sales out of those. And now they have all this windshield time, and they're trying to figure out, what the heck am I doing in this business? Does it even work for me?
Yes,
and those types of things.
That makes it so sensitive, Chris, because now instead of looking at that batch of 20, you're looking at that last 5.
Right.
Let's say you get 2 or 3 sales out of that last 5, you're gonna feel like the most exciting, smartest person in the world. Look at your return on investment on these last 5. It's through the roof. It's unmatched. You're a genius. What if you sell 0 out of that? You just wasted an entire week, entire 3 days. You didn't get anything, but it cost you money, gas, time, energy. But the mental side of it is you feel like you have a major loss. You lose confidence. You lose belief when you've already succeeded on this batch. Like you have to win the mental battle as well.
And if you want, you can take those 5 leads, rotate them into the next time.
Put them in the next 20 and I get 25.
There you go. Boom. Absolutely. All right. And then the final one, and we'll probably revisit this. There's tons of blind spots, but the final one for today is growing and developing. And one of the things you and I talk about, Zach, is the danger of success in this industry, and where you feel like sometimes it can just feel like you've arrived. You know, you had a week where you absolutely crushed it, or you've had 2 weeks, you've had 3 weeks, heck, you had a month of crushing it, and then your activity has changed, and maybe you've taken some time off that wasn't anticipated, right? Or you've decided that you don't need to keep doing the things that got you there to be successful in the first place.
Yeah, I think there's actually a few different parts to this one, Chris. I think one of them, and you've alluded to it, you become successful. You be able to find a recipe for success, a sales system, a presentation, a lead type, and you succeed for a certain number of weeks, and then you build that money up in your account, and then you take that time off and your money just sinks back down. You can never pass that threshold. Then you do it again, and you see these agents that are kind of teeter-tottering up there and rich and broke.
Right.
But it can also happen when you're consistent. And what I mean by that, and we all probably know some agents that are really good at what they do. They're very confident. They're very talented. They're really good with people, but they lack other areas such as motivation, such as activity, such as they don't work a ton of days, but they're still successful. Nothing's wrong with that. I would say their blind spot, again, goes back to their why and what they want to accomplish and what their next goal is to really motivate them. Sometimes is they don't want to go to that next level because it's going to take activity, it's going to take commitment, it's going to take learning something new, and they may just write their 4,000 or 5,000 every single week and just be, and that's it.
Yeah.
But the same is true for both of these, Chris, and we see it all the time. So many agents, when they come in, they get excited. They're a little bit desperate. They need to have success. They're trying something new. They give it all their energy. They're listening. They're asking the right questions. They're on all the coaching calls. They're following the principles. They're using the presentation. They find success, but once they start consistently working and getting into the field and producing some level of number, then they realize that they're not continuing to show up to the coaching calls. They're not continuing to learn new products. They're not learning different personality types and how to read people better and how to serve people better, how to ask more questions, maybe add a couple additional products or verticals or ancillaries that they can serve this client in a better form. They become satisfied and stagnant at the level they're at, and they no longer develop or duplicate themselves or share the opportunity or just simply hit the next level and become better.
Yeah, there's this growing and developing has to be a commitment that is a lifelong commitment for each one of us. And it is almost like, when you see a senior retire and their life starts to stagnate. You see like they've resigned to the end of their life, and it's really sad when you see that. But then you see some other seniors who have a garden that they're proud of, and they're doing something like that, or they're helping their kids with their houses, and you're like, holy moly, man, you're so alive. You have so much energy. Or some who just work out. And, my mom does P90X for crying out loud still. She's doing her workouts.
She's in her 70s.
Yeah. Well, don't tell people that, but yes, she is. I mean, you can do the math, but she loves
That's
it.
awesome.
It's something she's passionate about.
We had a guy in our coaching call a little over a month ago, and I was on there, and he was in the insurance industry for 50 years.
In the industry for 50 years.
50 years. He got out of it, right? And now he's bored and he wants to get back in and continue to learn. He's in his 80s and he's on our coaching call learning how to sell this insurance again.
I love it.
It's unbelievable.
And that's a commitment to knowing this growth and development. It's a lifelong thing. And that can be listening to podcasts. I'm a big reader. I believe in reading. I think it helps you level up. I think finding mentors. Here's the greatest. I think the greatest one, the secret one, is in investing in other people, and that's pulling somebody alongside of you, especially if you have some wisdom under your belt, to be able to say, "Hey, let me show you this process and help you win as well."
Yeah.
When you start investing in people, you'll be surprised how much you grow.
I'll tell you my favorite word, Chris, and this has been, I guess, the theme of my life over the past 3 years is self-awareness. Self-awareness is the most important word to me because it allows you to look at yourself through a different lens. It allows you to analyze what are areas of improvement. Who do you want to become? What version of yourself do you want to be in every aspect of your life? And it allows you to reevaluate each of those with detail, and not to fix it right away with a snap of a finger, but to continue that journey to work on yourself, to eliminate and identify those areas of weakness so you can all become areas of strength. I just watched a video on Kobe Bryant the other night, and it was really cool. And he was asked a question in an interview. I know you're so competitive and this or that, but by the way, Kobe he wasn't super athletic. He was 6'6". He wasn't the tallest one. He didn't jump the highest. He wasn't the most athletic. So he was in an NBA standards normal, right? But what made him different was his work ethic was what made him set apart from everybody else. But they asked him, they said, hey, at what age did this start when you saw somebody, and you played against somebody, how did you want to beat them? How did you approach that? He said, what age are you talking about? He said, because it's different. When I'm at 13, yeah, they may be better than me now, but I'm looking at the long-term game and not the short-term game. I'm looking at I'm 13, I'm going to be better than him when I'm 20, right? He doesn't have to say, I got to be better than now at 13. He said, now how'd I got there? He goes, a lot of people don't know this. He said, even all growing up through middle school, through high school, the entire games of what I would do, I would only work on my weaknesses. He said, if my weaknesses was pull-up jumpers, the entire game of high school or, the series of games or whatever, I'm only doing pull-up jumpers. I'm doing what I'm weak at. He goes, why these other cats are out here doing what they're good at. If it's driving and dunking, they're doing it every time.
Yeah.
He said, if I didn't have a good pull-up three-point game, he goes, my whole sophomore year of high school, that's all I'm working on. I'm just pulling up three-point shooting. He goes, if it's post moves, he goes, whatever it is, he goes, I performed and everything I did was for my weaknesses. He goes, now fast forward, let's say we're both 20 now. He goes, oh yeah, we're not even in the same ballpark because I have a fully rounded game. I'm good at, I have the ability to be good at every aspect of it, and he's still doing the same thing. It's not even in the same realm of comparison.
Wow. Yeah, that's strong. So I think this issue of blind spots, understanding, like if you're driving a car, if you're not aware that there are blind spots, you're not paying attention to your blind spots, you could end up in a ditch, right?
That's true.
So these were three specific ones that we talked about. Number one, trying to do it yourself. Number two, do as little as possible with as little investment as possible. Number three is not continuing to grow and develop yourself. So we would love to hear from you. Throw in our chat below. You can share with us. Maybe
if you need some blind spot monitoring, maybe we can help.
Yeah, maybe we can help. Maybe you've thought of one and you've said, hey, this is a blind spot I see in this industry. We would love to discuss that with you actually below. But we love you guys. We want to help you as best we can. Check out more of our podcasts. Please subscribe. Check out lifeinsuranceacademy.org. And we can't wait to see you on the next Life Insurance Academy podcast. Thanks a lot.